Hello, Mr. Westwater here, and today I'm going to go through a few examples of changing the subject. So in each of these occasions we're going to look at what we're making the subject and how we're going to try and make that the thing that's solely isolated on its own. Okay, so when we say change the subject, remember that it means if I'm making A the subject, I want my final answer to be A equals. If I want B to be the subject, it can be B equals, and if I want C to be the subject, my final end game is for it to be C equals. Okay, now when you're solving these, you might actually end up with A on its own on the other side, or B or C on the other side, but that's fine, we can always swap it over at the very end. Okay. So to start off with, we're going to focus on this formula here, 3a plus 2b equals c. And let's start off by making A the subject. Okay, so I'm going to highlight A, this is what I'm making the subject, and we're going to try and think about everything else as just a whole number. Okay, and think about how we would solve this as an equation. So if this were something like 3a plus 2 equals 7, okay, the first thing I would do is I would subtract this 2, because it's the furthest thing away from A in terms of BIDMAS or BEMA. Yeah, so if we remember BIDMAS, okay, we would start with, and again, I'm going to essentially block out everything on this side of the equals. Okay, so just focus on 3a plus 2. And what would happen to A first? Well, we would multiply first before we added. Okay, so I'm going to solve this equation, I would unravel it in reverse order of BIDMAS. So I need to subtract 2 from both sides in this particular equation. So it would be 3a plus 2 minus 2 equals 7 minus 2, or just 3a equals 5. So we're going to adopt that approach for changing the subject. So focus solely on the side with the thing you're making the subject. What's going on here? Well, we're timesing by 3 and then adding 2a. So to unravel, not 3, a, b. So to unravel this, we would need to minus b first before dividing by a. So let's write down this equation, 3a plus 2b equals 7c. And I'm going to start off by subtracting 2b. Now, if you want, you can literally write this in. Remember what you start off with, 3a plus 2b minus 2b equals 7c minus 2b. So we've got everything we started off with, minus 2b, and everything we started off with, minus 2b. And what will happen is this should cancel out to undo this adding of 2b. So 3a equals 7c minus 2b. And as you become better and better on this, you can maybe miss out that middle step. Okay, and you can also look, if these were the same symbol, if these were both c's, then we might want to collect those terms together. But as there's a c and a b here, we can't collect those terms. So now we think, what's left next to a? We've just got 3, and that means I'm multiplying a by 3, which is what we sort of wrote down at the start. So to undo this step, I need to divide both sides by 3. Okay? And again, as you get better and better at this, you can just jump to the next step, but I'm going to show what's going on in its full glory. Okay. So we've got 3a divided by 3 and 7c minus 2b divided by 3, and these 3's on the a side will cancel. So we just end up with a equals 7c minus 2b over 3. Okay, again, the whole point of dividing by 3 was to sort of get rid of this 3 on the side with a, and that's what we end up doing. Okay? And it's important to remember that everything is being divided by 3 on both sides. So that's if I want to make A the subject. What happens if I want to make B the subject? So let's just draw a line under this. Okay, and we'll start off with the same expression. Okay. I've got a little bit of scribblings from earlier down there. So let's think about B now. What's happening to B? Well, we're timesing it by 2 first, and even though there's not a sort of adding on there, there's sort of an invisible or a hidden plus in front of it, isn't there? We could have actually written this as 2b plus 3a if you wanted to, as addition is associative or commutative. So we can think about it like this if you want. Either way, the next step would be adding 3a. Just think about that 3a as a number. Okay, so if you had 2b plus 7 equals 8 or something, we would take away this 7 and then divide by 2 to solve it. So to change the subject here, we start off with minusing 3a. I'm going to skip the middle step this time, so the 3a would just cancel out now, and we'd be left with 2b on the left-hand side, whereas on the right-hand side, we would have 7c minus 3a. Started with 7c, take away 3a, start with 7c, take away 3a. And then our final step, how do I isolate b on its own? We just need to divide by 2, undoing the multiplying by 2. And to represent that, all I need to do is think about everything I start off with, so 7c minus 3a, and everything's being divided by 2. Okay. Now, our last one is actually probably the easiest one, so let's start again with 3a plus 2b equals 7c. Okay, and I want to make c the subject. Okay, so the only thing that's on the side with c is that 7. So the only thing that's going on is timesing by 7. There's no second step here, so to undo this I just need to divide by 7. So this would leave us with c equals 3a plus 2b all over 7. Okay, let's do one final example. So I'm going to say 3x plus 4 equals 2y minus 1. And we're going to make x the subject for this. So again, just focus on x, focus on this side of the equation and think what's happening. In fact, I'm going to change it slightly because we've done 3 to death already. Let's make it 7. Oh no, I've done 7 to death. Let's go 5x plus 4. Okay, so over here we're timesing by 5 and then adding 4 in that order to x. So to solve this, we would be going minus 4 and then divide by 5. Okay, to sort of solve it or to rearrange. So it's that reverse BIDMAS order. So let's start off with both sides. We're going to minus 4. Okay, it's this step here. So 5x plus 4 just becomes 5x, deals with that plus 4. And on the right hand side we've got 2y minus 1, what we started off with, minus 4. Okay, and now before I do anything else, I want to think, can this be simplified at all? Can I collect any terms? Well, I've got 2 terms which are just units, so minus 1 and minus 4. So remember, think about the number line when you're adding and subtracting negative numbers. If we've got 0 here and minus 1 here, when I subtract, it goes further into the negatives. So take away 4 from minus 1, and we'll have 2y minus 5. Okay, and then our final step remember, I don't want 5x equals, I just want x equals. So I'd need to divide by 5, which, remember, was our second step. Okay, so divide both sides by 5 leaves x on the left-hand side, and then just, again, write down everything you started off with over 5. Okay.